We sometimes feel stuck thinking about an unpleasant encounter we've had, or setbacks that want to drain the life out of us, or a conversation that just hasn't made any sense at all. We somehow tend to be impacted much more by negative events than by the positive ones. It's almost as if our brain is hardwired for negativity. I mean, sometimes it keeps us awake at night playing those endless loops of blah, blah, blah when we just want to go to sleep already. And it continues to fixate on it again tomorrow and the next day and the next. In this video, we'll be talking about how to keep negative emotions from exhausting us. We'll talk about what to let go of so we can just move forward. This podcast is all about helping you with your spiritual growth so you can overcome obstacles and manifest your destiny to crystallize and materialize any dream, basically to have success on life's journey. It's all about getting unstuck by unlocking your hidden power. So let's get started. Hi there and welcome. My name is Remy, like Do Re Mi. I'm a best-selling author and creator of the Get Unstuck Revolution. I help extraordinary women just like you dissolve the obstacles in your path so you can bring success to you. Now let's get started with today's video. Okay, let me jump off the screen here and switch over to my laptop. Today, we're talking about what to let go of when we're just so tired of thinking about a situation and we just want to move forward toward success. If you'd like to see success in full abundance along life's journey, and if you're wanting to tap into a greater knowingness and align with the higher consciousness of your infinite self instead of the lower ego thinking that pushes success away, then this is for you. It's time to be unabashedly, unapologetically, happily untethered to ego thinking. It's time to align with the higher energies of our soul's path instead. This episode is for you if you wonder how to change your focus instead of ruminating over a solution, how to use your thoughts to design a new life or a new experience, how to get momentum going in a different direction. Yes, these episodes are about how to find your hidden power when you want to transform challenges into successes. I like to call it the audacity of alchemy. Because when we're feeling stuck, it's never the situation that has us stuck, it's our energy about it that's become stuck in anxiety, overwhelm, doubts, worries, frustrations, indecision, and even anger. And often this is because of a spiritual injury that we've experienced, some kind of hidden trauma. So it isn't the pain of the situation, it's the pain of not being connected in the natural energy of who we really are, of being connected to that magical part of us that's a creative vibrational being who can use positive energies to create what we want and bring it into physical manifestation. We can allow our manifestations to materialize and not get stuck in the negative vibrations that block them. These positive energies that we talk about so much are where we find the magic of alchemy, because our choice of frequency, our choice of those positive thoughts and emotions can change the course of our journey. You know, when we're feeling negative emotions, it's often because of a past experience, something that's followed us around for a while. It's often because of a past abuse or a past invalidation or a past spiritual injury. These invalidations that we've experienced in the past can often color how we handle life in the present. We're often feeling confused or in a fog about what to do. But remember, it's never the situation that has us stuck. It's our energy about it that's become stuck. So when we look at specifically what to let go of, well, right here at the top of the list of what to let go of is negative emotions. Now, letting go doesn't mean letting go of our hopes and dreams. It means letting go of the negative emotions that are in the way, that hinder the efforts of our inner being who knows the path and is trying to guide us toward a better direction. There's a part inside each of us that's a creative vibrational being, that part of us that can use positive vibration to create what we want. And that's the part of us that we want to connect with. We have to let go of negative emotions in order to connect with that part of us so that we can be guided by this part of ourselves. When we're feeling burned out and exhausted and overwhelmed, that's our indication of not being connected in the natural energy of who we are. Let me just emphasize that again. When we're burned out and exhausted and overwhelmed, that's an indication that we're not connected in the natural energy of who we really are. This part of us that's connected as a creative vibrational being knows the path to get us into this healthy and fulfilling life. It can navigate us around the negativity because when we're experiencing this negativity, our mind chatter, it screams too loudly. It depletes all our energy and we can't hear that inner voice at all. We can't see which direction will move us forward. We're just too depleted. We have to let go of this negativity so that we can receive help and guidance from that part of us that's connected as a creative vibrational being. Now, this may surprise you. It isn't really a matter of letting go because sometimes, let's face it, it's really difficult to let go, but we can change our focus. If we have trouble letting go of negative thoughts, we can change our focus. We can change our focus to a more positive vibration, more positive thoughts. We start by simply becoming aware of positive vibration. And in doing so, we begin to tap into our hidden power of alchemy. We want to align with a more positive vibration of how we want to feel. And then the solutions we're looking for can find their way to us. And we can start realizing better than expected outcomes. So, how does this work? What happens if we want to feel less overwhelmed or less stress or less burnout? Well, I have a little exercise for you today that I think you're going to love. And this is actually based on something that I teach called the Alchemy Matrix. You've heard me talk about it before, and I'm going to leave you with just a little piece of it today. So let's get started. If you'll take a blank piece of paper and draw a few circles on it, you can do this in your imagination, but if you're sitting at your desk, just take out a blank piece of paper and draw a few circles on it. The circles would be about the size of a quarter or a $50, small enough to fit maybe 12 or 15 circles on your page, and large enough that you can write a couple of words inside each circle. So your circles could form a spiral on your page. I've done this before. That's my favorite way. Or your circles can line up side by side, or you could put them in columns. You get to choose. It won't really matter how you lay them out. And sometimes in our workshops, we actually will take 12 sticky notes and just stick them to our work table. You're welcome to do that if you'd rather. So square sticky notes or circles, it won't matter. Each one of these will represent a single positive thought. Now, let's say that you're working on gratitude or prosperity, or let's use the word allowing as our example. And I'll show you that on the screen here in just a second. Let's use this word allowing because this is something that so many of us struggle with is allowing our manifestations to materialize without getting stuck in the negative vibrations that block them. So let me put up an example here. So, depending on what you're working on, you might fill in several of these pages just to brainstorm. That's what I do. And then make a final sheet of the best, most positive thoughts. So, this thing that I'm going to teach you today is flexible and you can use it however it best suits you. The one recommendation that I have is to use one page per topic and then maybe use one page per area of life that you're working on. So, one topic or one area of life, like one page for gratitude and a different page for prosperity. Or you might use one page for your career and a different page for your spiritual practices. You could also use one page for each of the life areas like relationships or money or personal growth. You could even get really specific about the kinds of experiences you'd like to create, like travel or a book tour or expanding your business into a new area. So, for example, if you'd like to travel the world, that would be all on one page, all having to do with travel. Maybe it would have different destinations on it, or maybe it would be filled with experiences. Maybe you'd brainstorm things like kayaking or bungee jumping or a safari. You'd brainstorm different experiences all on one page. Then a different page might be dedicated toward promoting your book. You know, I once read this book called I think it was called 1,001 Ways to Promote Your Book or 1,001 Ways to Sell Your Book. I forget, something like that. And I started making, as I was reading the book, different sticky notes for the different promotions that I'd want to do. And well, pretty soon I decided I was going to need a bigger wall. But you get the idea. It's a different topic on a different page so that you're focused on just that one area. So let's get back to our worksheet here. We can also customize the way we phrase our thoughts. Now, the example I have on the screen for you, I'm using the word allowing on it because this is something so many people struggle with. But as you do this, you might find that you'd rather say, I am now, for instance, I am now prosperous rather than I allow prosperity. You might say, I am now. I personally like the phrase, I love that, or I love it when. For instance, I love it when prosperity flows in perfect timing. Other people like to write down, I am now attracting, or some people write down, when my life is ideal, I am. So you can use this any number of ways, but use it in a way that most speaks to you and your world. And you'll notice as you begin filling in your positive thoughts, they'll come to you easier and easier. One thought will begin to attract the next. And you may not thought about this before, but this is the law of attraction at work here. One positive thought will attract the next positive thought, the same way that one negative thought attracts another negative thought. So by brainstorming this way and using these circles, what we're doing is we're creating momentum. We're creating one positive thought after another. Now, did you catch that? The law of attraction is at work here. One positive thought attracts the next and the next, the same way that one negative thought attracts the next negative thought. So we want to use this with purpose. All right. So this isn't just about coming up with positive thoughts. Each of these thoughts should have a purpose because with each thought, you're literally designing your new life. With each thought, just be aware that you're creating your next experiences. Whenever I complete one of these worksheets, what I'll do is record it into my iPhone so I can listen back often and continue to create on each new project that I'd like to see manifest in the physical. Yes, I do one of these worksheets for each and every project I'm working on. So this is to give you a guideline on how to begin to let go of negative thoughts. And like I said, the letting go part isn't always so easy. Sometimes it's just easier to get momentum going into a different, more positive direction than it is to completely stop the momentum that we've already got going with negativity because we may have habits. We may have for 5 years been thinking about our particular situation in a negative manner. So we want to change that momentum. So let's take the path of least resistance and simply begin with some new positive thoughts and build momentum that way. Since we know that like attracts like, sometimes it's just easier to start over and connect with universal energies so they can do the work for us, or so they can at least help us along the way. All right. Now, one of the reasons that I like these exercises in positive vibration so much is because I've learned that our inner being, our true self that's healthy and whole and complete, our inner being doesn't want us to chitter chatter about it. We often come from this place of figure, thinking, of talking things through in our head, of ruminating and vacillating and overthinking and spiraling out of control. And in fact, we do lose control. We lose control of our vibration. Our higher self doesn't want us doing this. It doesn't want us to talk about it because talking about it doesn't solve anything. All it does is perpetuate the negative thoughts. Our higher self wants us to work with universal laws. And since we are vibrational beings living in a vibrational universe, our higher self wants us to connect to a more positive vibration. So this is an exercise on how to recenter and align in solidarity with our true higher self at our most creative. Now, as a side note here, I want to say that the most important step in all this, the most important step in creating and designing our lives is to remain open and invite in possibilities even greater than we've imagined here. So be sure and stay open to possibilities and not be too rigid in the circles that you created. This is to be a free-flowing experience. We want to have utter trust and faith that universal energies are helping to create the best possible outcomes for our highest benefit. We want to create how we want life to look, and at the same time, not be inflexible in our expectations, but to be open to amazing possibilities. Just a little hint here. It's common that people in my workshops let their expectations get the better of them sometimes. And if something isn't manifesting like they'd expected, they fall back into frustration and then they get stuck again. So be sure and stay open to possibilities. So now we have a tool to help us out. Now, when we're feeling burnout and exhaustion, and we're just so tired of thinking about the same things over and over, now we have a way to let go by connecting to a more positive vibration that will serve our highest and best self. First, let's stop obsessively thinking about our situation, and instead, we can identify the negative emotion that has a grip on us: doubts, worries, fears, frustration, irritation, indecision, mistrust, uncertainty, whatever that negative emotion is. When we can spot it and see it and just make a decision in that moment to make a switch, well, we can start filling in positive thoughts. We can either fill in circles with positive thoughts, or we can begin filling in possibilities specific to the positive outcomes that we'd like to create, so that like can attract like, and our positive thoughts can begin to work for us. And doing this, we'll actually be creating and designing and connecting to a whole new life. Pretty magical stuff, this hidden power that we have. When we need to let go so we can just move forward, let's start right here, because thoughts create reality. It's an exact science, and failure is impossible. Let's go with the negative emotions and negative thoughts that aren't serving us. Let's not allow negative thoughts to create our reality. Let's not allow negative thoughts to create our reality. Let's think only of the positive outcomes and positive possibilities as they appear in our little circles here. We want to think only of what we're creating. Oh, it may take practice and discipline, but within the practice and discipline, we'll begin the creative process of designing a whole new reality. We'll begin the creative process of designing a whole new reality, one that's designed through positive vibration, and we'll exact more and more positive experiences to serve us. As we empower ourselves toward the self-expression of who we are at our core without the negative emotions of ego, we're choosing a higher frequency, higher and better thoughts, because our choice of frequency, our choice of more positive emotions, changes the course of our journey. So, reflecting back on everything we covered today, how can you apply what you've learned? If you've ever had trouble letting go of negative thoughts, do you see how you can change your focus? You can change your focus. We can change our focus toward a more positive vibration by looking toward best possible outcomes. Well, I hope this helps you as you're using the powers of alchemy to transform challenges and obstacles into positive new successes. This podcast is all about helping you have success on your spiritual growth journey. It's all about getting unstuck by unlocking your hidden power. You still can't get your head around what's got you stuck, you can tell me about it. You can send me a question to questions@unlockyourhiddenpower.com. Or you may not know that you can schedule a one-on-one session with your own personal unstuckologist, that's me, by visiting instantbreakthroughsession.com. This private session is designed to help you tap into your greatest resource, that's you, and together we can make quite a team toward calling in the transformational powers of alchemy. In our time together, we'll uncover your single biggest stuck point, the one you can't see, and we'll also go over the most genius way to create clarity so you can just move forward while one obstacle after another is obliterated. And we'll create a strategy to get you moving in a really good direction, the one that's aligned with your life purpose. If this sounds like a match made in heaven, you can hop on over to instantbreakthroughsession.com right now and book the time slot that works best for you. Well, thanks for joining me today, and I'm wishing you a life filled with all the alchemy you need to bring success to you. Feel free to share this video with anyone you know who's feeling stuck, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.